You ever think back to your first paycheck? Like mine was from scooping ice cream, minimum wage, sticky fingers. But I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm rolling in dough. I blew, I think, half of it on a pair of platform sneakers that I thought, made me look like a pop star. Turns out they just made walking. Like, kind of a dangerous adventure.
Oh, it is so common to want to celebrate, right? That first taste of financial independence, we've all been there. But what's fascinating is that those early money moves, the ones that we make when we're just starting out, they can actually have a huge impact on our long-term wealth.
Seriously. You're telling me my questionable shoe choices back then could have messed up my chances of being a millionaire now?
Well, maybe not the shoes specifically, but the mindset behind those impulse buys, right? Think about it. You start working, you have this like regular income, and suddenly there are all these things you can buy. It's easy to fall into that trap of instant gratification without considering the bigger picture.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But how do we, shift that mindset? How do we go from celebrating that first paycheck to actually, building that solid financial foundation?
That's what we're here to talk about. We're going to break down 7 essential money moves. And these can transform your financial journey, right? From that very first paycheck to building real, lasting wealth.
7 moves. Okay, I'm all ears. Let's kick things off. What's the first step on this, path to financial success?
So the first move is all about creating that safety net. Building an emergency fund. It might not sound as exciting as, I don't know, investing in the latest, tech stock or something. But trust me, it is the bedrock of your financial security.
Emergency fund. Okay, that makes sense. But how much are we talking here? Because on a starting salary, saving can feel like trying to climb Mount Everest with a pair of flip-flops.
I hear you. And that's why it's important to be strategic about it. The general rule of thumb is to aim for 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses. Now, I know that sounds like a hefty sum, especially when you're just starting out.
It does, especially when, rent seems to go up every year.
Right, so let's break it down. Let's say you're making around $55,000 a year, which is about the average starting salary for new grads. So that's roughly $4,583 a month before taxes. Your essential expenses, rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, that will probably eat up a big chunk of that.
Okay, so how do we even start building this emergency fund without living on ramen noodles for the next 6 months?
You don't have to go to extremes. The key is to start small and be consistent. Even setting aside 5% of each paycheck into a separate, high-yield savings account, that can make a huge difference over time.
High-yield savings account, is that different from a regular savings account?
It is, and it's an important distinction. A high-yield savings account typically offers a higher interest rate than a traditional savings account, which means your money is actually growing while it's just sitting there. Think of it as earning a little bonus on your savings.
So my money is making money while it's waiting to be used. I like the sound of that.
Exactly. And as you get raises or bonuses, right, you can gradually increase that percentage you're saving. Now imagine the scenario. You unexpectedly lose your job, or your car, decides to stage a major breakdown. Having that emergency fund in place means you can handle those situations without racking up credit card debt or having to borrow money from family or friends.
Okay, yeah, that peace of mind is definitely worth it. No one wants to be stuck in a financial bind. So, emergency fund check. What's the next crucial move on our list?
Let's talk about something that might sound a bit intimidating, but it's incredibly powerful. 401k optimization.
401ks, aren't those for people with fancy corner offices
Yeah.
and retirement plans? I always thought they were way too complicated for someone just starting out.
That's a common misconception. 401ks are actually a fantastic tool for anyone, even if you're in your very first job.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, they're not that complicated once you understand the basics.
All right, break it down for me. What makes them so important, especially at this stage in our careers?
Well, let's start with the concept of employer matching. Many companies offer a matching contribution to your 401k, which means they'll put in a certain amount of money for every dollar you contribute.
Wait, so they're essentially giving me free money towards my retirement. I'm definitely paying
Well,
attention.
think of it this way. For every, scoop of ice cream you sold at your first job, imagine your boss gave you an extra scoop for free. That's basically what employer matching is. Free money on top of your own contributions.
Okay, that's amazing. I wish my ice cream shop boss had been that generous. So we're talking about free money, but how does this 401k thing actually work?
Essentially, it's a retirement savings plan where you contribute a portion of your pre-tax income. This money is then invested in a variety of funds that you choose, and it grows tax-deferred until you retire.
tax deferred. Does that mean I don't have to pay taxes on it until I retire?
Yes, exactly. Which is another huge advantage of 401k. And here's where it gets really exciting. The magic of compound interest. The earlier you start contributing to your 401k, the more time your money has to grow exponentially.
Compound interest. That sounds familiar, but I'm not sure I fully grasp it.
Think of it like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow and gets bigger and bigger. Compound interest is similar. It's the interest you earn on your initial investment, plus the interest you earn on that interest, and so on. It creates the snowball effect. That can lead to significant growth over time.
Okay, that snowball analogy is making it click for me. So the earlier we start, the bigger our financial snowball can become.
Precisely. Let's say you start contributing $200 a month to your 401k at age 25. With an average annual return of 7%, you could have over $1 million by the time you retire. Now, if you wait until you're 35 to start, you'd need to contribute almost double that amount each month to reach the same goal. It's the power of time and compound growth.
Wow, $1 million from just $200 a month. That's incredible and a little bit mind-blowing.
It really highlights the importance of starting early. Even if it's with small contributions, those early dollars have the potential to grow significantly over time.
Okay, you've officially convinced me. 401ks are not just for the corner office crowd. I'm ready to start building my financial snowball. So what's the next move that's going to help us reach millionaire status?
Let's talk about something that can often feel like a maze: health insurance.
Ugh, health insurance. I remember trying to decipher those employee benefits packages. When I got my first job, it felt like reading a foreign language. HMOs, PPOs, deductibles, it was enough to make my head spin.
You're not alone. Navigating health insurance options can definitely be overwhelming, especially when you're new to the workforce. But understanding the basics can save you a lot of money and headaches down the road.
All right, let's demystify this health insurance maze. Where do we even begin?
First, let's break down the different types of plans that you might encounter. You mentioned HMOs and PPOs, which are two common types of managed care plans.
Okay, so HMO, PPO, what's the difference again? And are there other options out there?
You got it. An HMO, or health maintenance organization, typically offers lower monthly premiums, but it restricts you to a specific network of doctors and hospitals. You'll usually need a referral from your primary care physician to see a specialist.
A lower cost, but less flexibility. What about PPOs?
A PPO, or preferred provider organization, gives you more freedom to choose your doctors and specialists, even outside of the plan's network. But this flexibility, of course, comes with higher monthly premiums.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's a trade-off between like cost and choice. Are there any other types of health insurance plans we should know about?
There are. You might also come across high-deductible health plans, or HDHPs. These plans have lower premiums, but higher deductibles, meaning you'll pay more out of pocket for medical expenses before your insurance kicks in.
High deductible. That sounds a bit risky, especially if you have like unexpected medical bills.
That's a valid concern, but HDHPs are often paired with a health savings account, or HSA.
HSAs, those are those accounts you can use for medical expenses, right?
Exactly. And they offer some great tax advantages. You contribute pre-tax dollars, which lowers your taxable income. And the money grows tax-free. Plus, you can use it for qualified medical expenses, both now and in the future.
So it's like a special savings account, just for healthcare costs.
Precisely. And the beauty of an HSA is that the money rolls over year after year, unlike a flexible spending account or FSA, where you lose any unused funds at the end of the year.
Okay, so HMOs, PPOs, and HDHPs with HSAs. That's a lot to consider. Any tips on how to choose the right plan for our situation?
Absolutely. First, assess your health needs. Do you have any chronic conditions that require, regular doctor visits or medications? Are you planning on starting a family soon?
So think about your current health and any potential future needs. What else should we keep in mind?
Next, consider your budget. Can you afford those higher monthly premiums for more flexibility? Or would a lower premium plan with a higher deductible be a better fit?
That makes sense. We need to make sure the premiums fit comfortably within our budget.
And finally, don't be afraid to ask questions. Reach out to your employer's HR department or contact the insurance providers directly. They can walk you through your options and help you choose a plan that meets your needs and budget.
Okay, so assess your health needs, consider your budget, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Got it.
I'm feeling much more confident about navigating the health insurance world now. What's the next step on our financial journey?
Let's talk about something that might not sound glamorous, but is absolutely essential for taking control of your money, creating a budget.
Budgeting, I have to admit, that word always makes me think of spreadsheets and restrictions.
I get it, but budgeting doesn't have to be restrictive. Think of it as a roadmap to financial freedom. It's about making conscious choices about how you spend your money so you can reach your goals, whether it's buying a house, traveling the world, or simply having peace of mind about your finances.
Okay, a roadmap to financial freedom sounds much better than a restrictive spreadsheet. So how do we get started with this budgeting thing?
The first step is to track your income and expenses. You need to know where your money is coming from and where it's going.
Sounds simple enough, but tracking every penny I spend feels a bit overwhelming.
It doesn't have to be that complicated. There are tons of budgeting apps and tools out there that can help you automate the process. You can link your bank accounts and credit cards, and the app will categorize your spending for you.
So no more manually entering every coffee and takeout order.
Exactly. Technology can make budgeting much easier and less time-consuming. Once you have a clear picture of your spending habits, you can start making adjustments.
Like cutting back on those impulse buys. Because let's be honest, online shopping can be a dangerous rabbit hole.
Awareness is key. Once you see where your money is going, you can make conscious choices about where you want to cut back and where you want to prioritize.
Okay, so track your spending, identify areas where you can cut back, and prioritize your goals. Got it. Are there any specific budgeting methods or rules that you recommend?
You might have heard of the 50-30-20 rule. It's a simple framework for allocating your after-tax income.
Vaguely. Something about percentages.
Exactly. 50% of your income goes towards your needs, the essentials, like housing, groceries, transportation, and utilities. Then 30% is for your wants, things like entertainment, dining out, hobbies, and travel. And the final 20% is dedicated to your future, savings and debt repayment.
5-30-20. Okay, that actually sounds pretty doable. But is that realistic on a starting salary? I mean, 20% for savings and debt repayment feels like a stretch.
Remember, it's a guideline, not a rigid rule. You can adjust the percentages based on your individual circumstances and goals. The key is to prioritize saving and debt repayment, even if it's just a small amount at first.
So even if I can't hit that 20% right away, it's still important to make it a priority.
Absolutely, even if you start with 5% or 10% and gradually increase it over time. You're building a solid foundation for your financial future. And remember, as you get raises or bonuses, those are great opportunities to boost your savings and debt repayment contributions.
Okay, I'm getting the message. Consistency is key. Small, consistent efforts add up over time. So we've covered emergency funds, 401ks, health insurance, and budgeting. What's the next move on our financial checklist?
Let's talk about something that can be a bit of a double-edged sword, credit. Building good credit is essential for your financial well-being, but it's important to use it responsibly.
Credit cards have always made me a bit nervous. These seem so easy to overspend on. And I've heard horror stories about credit card debt.
Those concerns are completely valid. Credit cards can be a slippery slope if you're not careful, but when used wisely, they can be a powerful tool for building credit, earning rewards, and even protecting yourself from fraud.
So it's all about finding that balance
Yeah.
between using credit to your advantage and avoiding those potential pitfalls.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Your credit score is like a financial report card. It tells lenders how responsible you are with money.
So the higher our credit score, the better our financial reputation.
Precisely. A good credit score can open doors to lower interest rates on loans, better credit card offers, and even easier approval for renting an apartment.
Okay, I'm starting to see why building good credit is so important. But how do we even start if we've never had a credit card before?
Choosing the right first credit card is crucial. Look for one with a low credit limit, no annual fee, and a reasonable interest rate. And remember, the key to building good credit is to use your credit card responsibly and pay your balance in full and on time every month.
So avoid charging more than we can afford to pay off right away.
Exactly. The goal is to avoid carrying a balance and accruing interest charges, which can quickly lead to a debt spiral. Using your credit card for small, everyday purchases and paying it off in full each month is a great way to establish a positive payment history and build your credit score over time.
Okay, so use credit wisely, pay your bills on time, and avoid carrying a balance. Got it. What's the next move that's going to help us on our path to financial success?
Money move number 6 might surprise you. Skill investment. We've been talking a lot about managing your money, but investing in yourself is just as important, if not more so.
That's an interesting perspective. So it's not all about dollars and cents.
Absolutely not. Your earning potential is your greatest asset. The more you invest in your skills and knowledge, the more valuable you become in the job market, and the more valuable you are, the higher your earning potential.
I love that. It's like we're investing in our own personal growth and development.
Exactly. Think about it. What are you passionate about? What skills would you like to develop or enhance? Investing in yourself could mean taking courses, attending workshops, pursuing additional certifications, or even learning a new language.
You just reminded me of a time early in my career when I was working as a junior writer, and I felt kind of stuck. I decided to take an online course on digital marketing, and a few months later, our company launched a big social media campaign. Because of that course, I was the only one on the team with those skills.
That's a perfect example of how investing in your skills can pay off. What happened next?
I ended up leading the entire campaign and even got a promotion.
Hmm.
It was amazing how that one investment in myself opened up so many new doors.
That's incredible. It highlights the power of taking initiative and investing in your own growth. It's not always about immediate financial returns. It's about positioning yourself for long-term success. And sometimes those investments can lead to unexpected opportunities, like starting a side hustle or even launching your own business down the line.
Okay, skill investment, officially added to my financial to-do list. I'm feeling inspired to learn something new and expand my skill set. What's the final money move? That's going to help us navigate the world of personal finance like pros.
Last but not least, let's talk about something that often feels intimidating, but is crucial for keeping more of your hard-earned money: tax planning.
Ugh, taxes. Just the word makes me want to bury my head in the sand. I always feel like I need an accounting degree just to file my return.
I hear you. Taxes can definitely feel overwhelming, but understanding the basics can save you money and make the whole process much less stressful.
Okay, I'm willing to listen. Where do we even begin with this tax planning thing?
It all starts with your W-4 form. This is the form you fill out when you start a new job, and it tells your employer how much tax to withhold from each paycheck.
So it's like choosing the right settings so you don't get a huge tax bill or a tiny refund at the end of the year.
Exactly. You want to make sure you're withholding the right amount, so you're not overpaying throughout the year, but you also don't want to underpay and owe a large sum come tax time.
Okay, so W-4, check. What else do we need to know about navigating the world of taxes?
Be aware of the common tax deductions and credits you might be eligible for. Things like student loan interest, charitable contributions, and certain work-related expenses can lower your tax liability, which means you'll owe less in taxes.
So it pays to do your research and understand the tax breaks that are available to you.
Absolutely. And perhaps most importantly, keep good records throughout the year. Organize your receipts, track your expenses, and keep everything in a safe place. This will make filing your taxes so much easier and less stressful.
Okay, so tax planning. Demystified.
Yep.
Understand your W-4. Be aware of deductions. Keep good records. I'm starting to feel like I can actually handle this whole tax thing without needing that accounting degree.
You got this. And remember, there are resources available to help you if you ever feel stuck or overwhelmed. You can use tax software, consult with a tax professional, or even reach out to the IRS for guidance.
That's a relief to know. So we've covered a lot of ground today. 7 essential money moves that can truly transform our financial journey, from that first paycheck to building lasting wealth. It's amazing how much we've learned. In just one conversation, let's quickly recap those 7 moves to make sure it all sinks in for our listeners.
Absolutely. Starting with your first paycheck, prioritize setting up an emergency fund. Aim for 3 to 6 months of living expenses, even if you have to start small and build it gradually. And remember those high-yield savings accounts. Let that money work for you.
Next, maximize your 401k contributions, especially if your employer offers matching. That's free money towards your retirement, people. And speaking of retirement, remember the power of compound interest. The earlier you start, the bigger your financial snowball will grow. Time is your greatest ally when it comes to building wealth.
Money move number 3 is all about health insurance. Take the time to understand your options, considering your individual health needs and budget. Don't just pick the first plan you see. Ask questions, compare costs, and make sure you're getting the coverage that's right for you.
Then we talked about budgeting, that roadmap to financial freedom. Use the 50-30-20 rule as a guideline. Track your spending and find a system that works for you. And don't be afraid to automate those savings. It's a great way to stay on track and avoid temptation.
Money move number 5 is all about building good credit. Choose your first credit card wisely, use it responsibly, pay your bills on time, and avoid carrying a balance. Remember, building good credit is about building trust with lenders and establishing a positive financial track record.
Then we shifted gears a bit and talked about the importance of skill investment. Never stop learning, folks. Take courses, attend workshops, and take advantage of any professional development opportunities that come your way. Investing in your skills and knowledge is one of the best investments you can make.
And finally, we demystified tax planning. Understand your W-4. Be aware of deductions and credits that you might be eligible for. And keep good records throughout the year. It might seem intimidating at first, but with a little knowledge and effort, you can navigate the tax world with confidence.
I love how we've covered the entire spectrum of personal finance, from managing everyday expenses to planning for our future. It's empowering to realize that we all have the tools and resources to take control of our finances
Yeah.
and build a solid foundation for success.
Absolutely. And remember, even if you've already started your career, it's never too late to implement these strategies. Every step you take toward financial literacy and responsible money management brings you closer to your goals.
We've covered so much today, and I'm truly inspired by the potential we all have to build wealth and achieve financial freedom. Now, before we wrap things up, I have one final thought-provoking question for our audience. We've talked about investing in your skills, but what about investing in experiences? How can travel, new hobbies, or even just trying something outside your comfort zone contribute to your overall wealth and well-being?
That's a brilliant question. It's something to ponder for sure.
I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share them in the comments below.
And for more financial wisdom, that can help you make smart money moves and turn your first paycheck into $1 million future. Make sure you subscribe to Smart Money Discussions.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep those smart money moves coming. We're excited to hear from you.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of your experiences?
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you and all of our listeners.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Smart Money Discussions.
That's right. Remember, your journey to financial success starts with that very first paycheck.
Yeah. So make those smart money moves. Invest in yourself and watch your wealth grow.
Thanks for joining us.